Skinny dipping. With Mark, a mixture of excitement and dread. The forbidden has its allure, doesn't it? A pull too strong to resist, especially when whispered by the deceptive serenity of the lake. Tonight I share a chapter drenched in temptation, a tale of love, longing and a betrayal so profound, even the ever-watchful waters couldn't have predicted. Chapter 4. Time, they say, heals all wounds. But what they often forget to mention is how it has this uncanny knack of dredging up memories long forgotten. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the city became my cocoon, shielding me from the piercing prying of my own conscience. But even in its vast expanse, in its crowded streets and noisy cafes, I found solitude, a solitude that weighed heavily upon me. Enter Mark, a vivacious charmer with a razor-sharp wit. Our meeting was nothing short of cinematic, a chance encounter during a rainy evening when he offered his umbrella, as I was caught unprepared. We walked side by side, sharing stories, getting drenched, and laughing at the world and its little ironies. With Mark, everything was light and breezy. He was the polar opposite of James, and a welcome respite from the intensity of my past relationships. We danced through the streets of the city, explored hidden alleyways, and tried out every gelato stand we could find. His laughter was infectious and his optimism unwavering. However, as with all things in my life, the lake loomed large, casting its shadow over the happiness I had found. Every joyous moment was tinged with the knowledge that soon I'd have to face my demons again. And I did wonder often if Mark would be the one to finally break the cycle, to pull me out from the quagmire of my past. It was during a particularly hot summer evening that I broached the subject. The city was alive with festivities, and amidst the glow of fairy lights and the gentle strumming of a distant guitar, I told Mark about the lake, or at least parts of it. I spoke of its beauty, its serenity, and how it had played a pivotal role in all my relationships. What I didn't tell him was about the shadows it hid, the whispers it carried, and the heartbreak it had witnessed. Mark, ever the adventurer, was intrigued. A weekend getaway was planned, and as we packed our bags, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and dread. The familiar road to the lake seemed longer this time, each mile echoing the tumult of emotions within me. The day at the lake started off beautifully. We picnicked, played silly games, and as the sun began its descent, Mark suggested we take the plunge. Hand in hand, we ventured into the cool waters, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. But as darkness set in, the lake began its haunting serenade. Memories of Tom, the weight of lost relationships, the guilt of walking away from James all converged, threatening to drown me. Mark, sensing my distress, tried to pull me back to the shore, but the more he tugged, the deeper I sank into the abyss of my past. That night, under the starlit sky, I finally bared my soul. I spoke of Tom, of the tragedy, of the heavy burden of guilt and grief. Mark listened, his face a canvas of emotions, shock, sympathy, understanding. But when dawn broke and the first rays of the sun hit the shimmering waters, I knew that the lake had claimed another victim, another relationship. Mark, try as he might, couldn't fathom the depth of my pain, the chains that bound me to that place. As we drove back to the city, a silence hung between us, a silence that spoke volumes, and I realized yet again that the lake, with its shadows and whispers, continued to hold sway over my life.
This is chapter 4 of a 6-part short story. The next chapter is chapter 5. If you like this chapter and would like to hear the other 5 chapters or more stories of love, betrayal, cheating, and candid confessions like this one, please make sure you subscribe to the Romance Diaries on YouTube.